Hello. For those of us joining, welcome. For those of us who have been here this morning, welcome back. Before we start, I would just like to note two things. Thank you to all of those participating on the OT World via the OT World Connect. Also, please make sure you can also chat with us live on our via OT World Connect or on the mecuris.com/OTW. There we have our live chat tool. Wonder. Please make sure to join in. We are here to help. So, thank you again. I'm Tara Nickel, Senior Business Development Manager at Mecuris. I'd like just to give a brief introduction and tell you that less than 5 years ago, we had individuals from the field of product design, engineering, business, finance, software development, and medicine who came together and had a joint vision: digitally manufactured OP solutions worldwide. Mecuris' mission are the 3 E's: to enable, to empower, and enrich. But how does Mecuris do this exactly? Our digital tools enable and empower CPOs together with their patients to co-create individualized, industrially 3D printed prosthetics and orthotics, thereby enriching the wearer's quality of life. Mecuris' formula is simple. Thanks to digital tools and digital product development, our means, this enables the CPOs to create the tailor-made patient aids, as you can see here on the table. These are our ends, and this equals amazing, industrially 3D printed, individualized solutions made easy. Now, to transition from easy to the technical, I'm going to turn the floor over to my colleague, Benjamin Groschel, who is a member of our technical sales team. Benny, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Tara. And welcome, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. I'm more than happy to give you a brief rundown in what Mecuris is all about, what our idea is, and how we have transferred these ideas and these visions that we have into products that change the lives of prosthetic wearers and O&P professionals on an everyday basis. For that, I would just give you a brief insight with a short presentation on where we come from, just to make you understand actually how our products came into life. Our overall goal is to change orthopedics through digitalization and personalization and 3D printing. Nowadays we live in a world where individualization becomes more and more crucial. Individualization is key in almost every aspect of our life, and this is even more so true for the orthotics and prosthetics world. This puts basically an entire market under pressure. There are 2 ways in how to address this. I mean, nothing needs to be more customized and individualized as a prosthesis or, let's say, an orthosis, because both of these are worn by the respective wearer on an everyday basis and are basically becoming part of them. And how is this addressed nowadays? Basically, there's 2 different ways. Let's say, traditional way, which means a lot of manual work, which allows to create great products, but which is very time and also cost intense. So creating a full-on customized prosthetic solution from scratch in a traditional way is a process that requires incredible craftsmanship on the one hand side, and also a significant amount of time and time that goes into this. On the other hand side, especially in the orthotics world, we have the other extreme, which is a standardized way, a mass production, let's say, out-of-the-box patient aids. Not very individual, not customized, but therefore very much cost and time efficient, but obviously on the complete other side of the spectrum. We at Mecuris, we aim to combine these 2 worlds and combine the benefits of both of these worlds in unique products that allow or that are as unique as the wearer who wears them. And how do we do this? The central heart piece of Mecuris is the so-called Mecuris Solution Platform. In the Mecuris Solution Platform, this is basically where we tailor products both for orthoses and prosthetics to the respective wearer together with the O&P professional. And we do this in a very data-driven and very digital approach. And I will go more into detail on this in just a second. So you see, in the Mercury solution, we combine the worlds of a very data-driven approach that I just mentioned on the one hand side and our technical expertise in the field of 3D printing to produce products like prosthetic feet, like cosmetics or covers, and also orthotics. All of the products that I just mentioned are fully simulated prior to the production, and we use our understanding of the production process to create the best product that we possibly can. How does this look more in detail? As mentioned, the solution platform is the central heart piece of this process. This is where we gather information about the wearer or the patient, either through, let's say, a 3D scan, for instance, or also through a traditional analysis in terms of wearer-specific data. Let's talk in terms of a prosthetic foot. What foot length does he have? What is the respective wearer weight? And also what heel height is, for instance, required. Now, we gather this information and we use it to model and configure a patient aid that is tailor-made specifically for this respective wearer. And then we bring these products into life through an industrial 3D printing service. And this allows us to produce, just as a few examples over here, prosthetic feet on the one hand side, covers, and also orthotics. And what I want to do with you today in the next roughly 40 minutes, I want to give you a brief overview over what we do in all of these different fields. I want to show you what are the new things that we have developed since the last OT World, and what are the major changes nowadays also in this field of digital orthotics and prosthetics. Right. So I would love to kick it off with the prosthetics. We will go through the different products we have in this field, and afterwards, for everybody who wants to join later again, in roughly 10 to 15 minutes, I will give you a deep dive into our digital Orthotics Workshop, where I can show you how we use a scan to produce a fully customized orthosis. But let's start it with the prosthetics for now. And I want to kick it off with a product that we have just released, which is basically the newest member of our prosthetics product portfolio, which is our next step. And we have prepared a short trailer video just to give you an insight what this foot actually can do, which I would like you to check out right now.
I think this is our English preview of this video. Oh, interesting.
So let's check out what we got at hand here. This is what we just saw, our brand new next step. It is a 3D printed prosthetic foot for everyday use for an adult wearer in the mobility class Mob 2 or Mob 3. As you can see, the entire structure looks very different from what you might expect in the traditional look of a prosthetic foot. We do not have a foot shell whatsoever. It basically consists out of a 3D printed frame structure. And it's reinforced by a carbon fiber plate in here that increases energy return, and also a metal spring in the heel that serves the same purpose. Now, what is special about this foot? On the one hand side, you might have already guessed, I mean, it's a completely different approach on how to design a prosthetic foot. It is obviously not aiming to hide. It's not aiming to be covered. It is worn completely without any kind of a cosmetic around it. That makes it incredibly versatile for an everyday use, especially for wearers who like to take this foot abroad. The product designer, Yanis, who designed this foot, usually refers to it as the SUV and the prosthetic feet, and that's basically what it does. You can take it on a stroll around downtown because it shows a great rollover shape which we have optimized based on our understanding of the material behavior. But you can also easily take it to the beach because the entire foot is not only water but even salt waterproof. What we have in here are different components, and I would like to run you through it step by step. So the major frame is completely 3D printed. It's printed out of a nylon material, which gives it a great flexibility per se. What we have in here is what I already mentioned. It's a carbon fiber spring. The cool part about this is that you can adjust the carbon fiber spring based on, let's say, the wearer weight or also the mobility that the wearer wants to go for. And you can add a carbon fiber spring in here to increase the stiffness in the forefoot. And then we have on the heel another metal spring, which you can also replace based on the respective wearer needs. I see we already have a first question coming in. Great stuff. Hit me. What's coming up? How can I order a foot from you? Excellent question. I will gladly go to this in just a second, and I will show you how we use the Mercury solution platform that I mentioned in the beginning on how to choose the respective parameters and also individualize the design, for instance. So hang in there for another 2 to 3 minutes and we will go through it step by step. Another important part about this foot here, also with respect to the outdoor use and using it in a wet environment, it's got a sole which basically is completely slip-proof, so it's easily also to be worn. If you want to take it to the pool, for instance, that's just the perfect sole right there. It comes in different heel heights, so the wearer can either wear it in a shoe with, it typically comes with 1 centimeter heel height, so it's designed to be worn in a shoe, but it can also be adjusted to be worn without shoes, so barefoot. I want to use the question that we already just had to give you an insight in how the whole thing is designed. And for that, I would like to share my screen with you in just a second to show you how we use the solution platform to tailor basically the entire structure of the foot. I'm sharing my screen in just a second. Thank you so much. So this is what I have already mentioned, our so-called Mecuris solution platform. And where we are right now is our Prosthetics Workshop. So in here you will find the very product that we have just discussed again. It's our Mecuris Next Step right here. As already mentioned, it's completely waterproof and it's a typical all-rounder kind of prosthetic foot for adults. Now if you go into the solution platform and click on the respective product, it takes you into a mask that allows you to get a full 3D vision of the foot. You can do this basically together with your wearer to make him also understand what his future prosthetic foot is going to look like. So in the first step, we can easily just choose a color to individualize it to the preferences of the wearer. Let's go for blue as we just had it right here.
Let's go for green. Green pops.
Green pops. Let's
green
go for
pops.
green then. And in a second step, we go for the configuration of the foot in terms of the parameters. So we define the foot length. We can go all the way from 23 to 29 centimeters. Currently, that's the range that we offer. And we put in here the body weight of the respective wearer. In a final step, basically, we get a full summary of what the foot is going to look like on the one hand side, what parameters we have chosen, and what dimensions we have put in there, and we simply add it to a card. So it's quite that simple. With a billing and a shipping address, basically you're all set. Our engineers will go through the parameters that you have just entered, and you can simply order the foot. So the ordering process is as simple as that. Same is true, by the way, also for our first step, which I would like to show you as a next thing. The first step has been around for a while. For those of you who have visited our booth at the OT World 2 years ago, you might have already seen this product, or at least a very similar one. What are the major changes that we have done in this? Or maybe let's start it off by explaining you the idea behind this. What you have just seen in terms of the next step, being very versatile and very robust for an everyday use, regardless if it's in a wet or in a dry environment, the same is true for the first step foot, only that it is specifically designed for children. So that means that the entire structure is obviously significantly softer. So it's basically designed for children up to a body weight of 40 kilograms right now. And we can tailor the foot width, the foot length, and also the heel height to the specific wearer. So in this case, we can go with a heel height from 0 millimeters up to 10 millimeters. So the CPO can decide together with the wearer if the foot will be worn barefoot or rather in a shoe. But there's another thing about this foot that I want to show you specifically, because it's basically one of the huge impacts that we have seen coming up, or that were brought to our attention by the CPOs who have been using it. So just like the adult foot, you can fully individualize also the design. So you can choose a color and how we print it, and more importantly, you can actually even add some patterns that we bring into here. It's probably a bit hard to see in this one. I will show it to you in the platform in just a second. In this case, we've got a butterfly on this, which was probably chosen by a young girl who wanted to make this foot just look a bit more ladylike. And that actually has a huge impact for the kids, because we believe it is important that we take the prosthesis wearers by the hand and let them influence how their prosthetic or orthosis is going to look like. And I will show you in our Mecuris solution platform in just a second how this is done.
Question.
Prior to that, I would like to address another question that just came in. What are the advantages of the foot over the competition, and which mobility class is it? So with this foot here, what are the advantages and what mobility class is it designed for? Let's go with the second question first. The mobility class for children, I mean, you know, the kids usually just go for what they want to go for, so we have addressed this for the full range. It is basically a foot that is designed to suit the needs of the children, regardless on how mobile they want to use it. What are the specific advantages? The kids might take this out, or if a kid takes this out for a run, it doesn't care if there's going to be a puddle or dirt or whatever. They want to go through each and every puddle they can find, basically, and the first step will allow exactly that. So it's not only also completely waterproof, but it's also really easy to clean. There's no foot chill around it which will hold water after cleaning, or which will hold sand after you've taken it to the beach. You can just rinse it and you're all set to go again. And another big advantage that we have seen in the market, because we can because we have simulated basically the rollover shape of this foot while developing it, we have designed it so that the rollover shape, especially in the middle part for this foot here, is nice and soft. And this helps the kids actually to create a very natural gait in these early years, where they actually learn to walk and learn how to move around with the prosthesis properly. And this is a huge game changer for a lot of kids that we've seen.
But does it also have like this integral structure as well too? Because you can't really see it, I can't tell.
In this one here, it's a bit of a different approach. Yes, it has an additional glass fiber plate in this case, which increases the energy return. It's not a carbon fiber, because carbon is typically a lot more stiff and a lot harder. For the kids, we wanted to have a softer foot to allow a better rollover shape, but basically it's got the same energy return component sitting right in there, right?
So they can take on the road. Look, we have another question.
Got another question coming in. Let's go. The platform looks great. Do I need to install software to use it?
I think it's time to show the platform.
I think so too.
Here, I'll take
Sandra,
the foot.
Oh no, Sarah, sorry. Sarah, let's take a look into this right now. If we go back to the Mecuris solution platform that we've seen before, you might notice one thing around here. This is actually just my regular internet browser. So to cut short to the answer of your question, no, you don't need any kind of software that you install on your PC. It is completely web-based, and you can just open it up in your browser. That has two major advantages. On the one hand side, the performance of the solution platform, so also the 3D renderings and so on of the products that you see on there, they do not depend on the hardware of your PC that you're using. This is point number one. And secondly, we are continuously improving and also upgrading the solution platform with more functionality, with new products coming in and so on. And now you don't have to manually update this to your PC where you have stored the software, but we can update this on the server basically, so you have access to the full functionality every time that you use the software. Let's take a look at how the first step, individualization, works. So we are back in our Prosthetic Workshop. We can take a look into the configuration of the first step. Basically, it looks pretty similar to what we have seen with the next step before. you can sit down with the kid who's going to wear the foot and show him or her exactly what the foot is going to look like afterwards. Yet again, more than happy to choose a color. So in this case, maybe we want to go for a red foot. And you can choose an icon. We've got a pre-selection right down here, basically, where you can choose an icon. Let's go for a unicorn on this one. What do you think?
No, let's go for a soccer ball.
Soccer ball and a red foot, you sure about that?
Yes, yes.
Makes sense. Given the fact that we're in Munich, soccer on a red foot seems about right. So, in the next step, basically same approach. We can go for the heel height and choose something between 0 and 10 millimeters. Yet again, 0 millimeters if it's supposed to be worn barefoot as a part of a swimming prosthesis, for instance, up to 10 millimeters if you want to design it to be worn in a shoe on an everyday basis. We have included the possibility to choose a foot width, especially for this pediatric foot, because we have seen that in this young age, that's quite a big topic. We've got a lot of feedback from the CPOs. We try to adjust this a little bit to make it a bit more slim or wider. We're happy to give a recommendation if you're not entirely sure about which foot width you should choose. So we are happy to assist on this one if it helps. Then again, the foot length, of course, currently it's available up to 230 millimeters. And the body weight, which can be anywhere between, let's say, 5 or up to 40 kilograms. At the end, you basically just choose the side that you want to have it on, and you're already done with the configuration. The foot is full waterproof, and you can send this inquiry into us. We check yet again the parameters to make sure that everything is technically feasible, and we can produce the foot for the respective wearer specifically. By the way, if you guys want to sign up for this Mecuris solution platform that I'm showing here right now, the access to the Prosthetic Workshop that I've been showcasing for the last 10 minutes is completely free, so feel free just to sign up for that and check it out yourself.
And they can just sign up on our platform?
They can sign up directly on the platform, correct.
Okay.
Now we've been taking quite a look into the different prosthetic products that we have, the prosthetic field specifically. There's another thing that I want to talk to you about in the field of the prosthetics, which is our cosmetics. So any kind of lower limb cosmetics that we are providing right now. And yet again, I would love to kick it off with a brand new product that we have just released, which is our dynamic cover. Also for this dynamic cover, we have prepared a short clip. And after that, we can dive into the technical details and the idea behind it and show you what is so cool about it.
I think it's another English world premiere.
It is. And we got it right here. This is our brand new dynamic cover. This one really just came out, and this is not only a world premiere of a short trailer clip, but this is actually a world premiere of a cover of this kind. What you can see here is a cover that is designed to go with a high flexibility prosthetic feet. In this case, this is specifically designed to be combined with an Urso ProFlex foot. And for those of you who have used this foot in the past, the foot is great when you have a high mobility wearer because it allows a great flexibility in the ankle region. But this makes it very tricky to build a fitting cosmetic around it, because if you go for a foam cosmetic, for instance, it's just going to eat the ankle part of this foam cosmetic right off. What we have come up with is a solution that has a flexible part down here in the heel, and which is basically directly connected to the foot shell down here. So regardless of what the wearer is intending to do with it and how active he's going to use it, this cosmetic is designed to allow everything and basically, join him on the ride, basically. The material that we've used is also basically brand new to 3D printing in general. It's a Tpu material. Now, what is cool about that? You might have seen that, that this one here already looks quite soft. I can show you what that actually means, because actually the whole thing is really soft and deformable. That has two great benefits for the wearer. Now, on the one hand side, it basically will adapt to the form of the shaft up here and create a really nice transition between the socket and the cosmetic cover, which gives it just a great look. But on the other hand side, also on a day-to-day basis, the soft material just feels a lot more natural. And this comes into play if you want to sit down and you want to, you know, or if you, let's say for instance, you hit a corner or something, this one here will not go right through, let's say, your pants and rip a hole into the pants because the cover is so hard, but this one here is nice and soft and it allows all of this. This is very durable. The assembly and the entire customization is really straightforward also. So in this case, you can assemble it in only a couple of minutes. Actually, we have a bit of an internal championship on this one. Who of our engineers is capable of assembling it the fastest? And I'm not exactly sure what the record is, but it only takes them a few minutes to get the whole thing going. So it's really just as easy as removing a strap back here. You can already take out the back part and you've got full access to the prosthesis on the inside. So the fit is nice and tight up here, but how do we make it fit so well? Is a scan needed or not? You've already seen it in the video. Basically what you need is no expensive scanner or complicated scanning process. The entire customization and individualization of this cover requires nothing more than basically just a tape measurement, and that's it. You are gonna collect a couple of measurements on your prosthesis. So, for instance, at what height do you want the cover to end, and what is the circumference in this respective height, and a couple of more measurements around the circumference of the socket, and this gives you enough information to basically get your fully individualized cover, yeah, from scratch.
So it's sleek, it's shiny, and it's sexy. I mean, what else can you say?
Currently we have this available in black for now. We are aiming in the future also to go for this in colored versions, but this is soon to come, let's put it this way. Yet again, assembly nice and quick, and I would love to show you how easy it is and how you can actually check it out on the Mecuris Solution Platform 2. And for that, I will briefly share my screen again to give you an insight how you can individualize this through the platform.
Okay.
That's all set?
Good.
Perfect.
That's good.
So we are back to the Prosthetic Workshop. The dynamic cover is here on the right-hand side, actually. Just a quick second. Yeah, and yet again, you can get a nice preview of the whole thing and see how it's going to look like in the end. You are, and then basically it takes you through the entire measurement process. So really all you need is the height at which you want the cover to end, the foot length, because this defines how large the foot shell is, and therefore how the connection between the cover and the foot shell is going to look like, and also another circumference around the lower end of the socket. And that's it. This is basically all the information that you need to provide. You don't need a scanner to order one of these, and you can basically get it, yeah, within only a few weeks, and we print it specifically for the respective wearer. Perfect. Let's.
Oh, wait! Before we jump in, we have another new question.
Yes, please. Let's see what we got. How does you make sure with such an individualized foot that the quality stays the same? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. This here goes back to the prosthetic foot that we're sitting here in the front. So this is a question how we assure that the quality of this foot is always high and always the same, and also that this foot is safe to walk on. Now here's a great thing. All of these prosthetic feet that I'm showing you today, they are all CE certified. This means that we have a specific range of parameters in which we can provide this foot. As I mentioned before, for instance, for the first step, this one here goes up to 230 millimeters, whereas this one here starts at 220 millimeters length up to 290 millimeters, and specific patient weights, and let's say heel heights, for instance, for the first step. Now within these parameter ranges, these feet have been completely designed and simulated and then also tested. So we assure that these feet hold up to the highest standards, and this requires not only that we understand the 3D printing process behind it very well, but also that we test each and every foot that goes out. So every foot that we print for the respective wearer goes through a 4-step quality assurance process from the initial verification if the parameters that the CPO requests are doable and technically feasible or not, all the way to a physical test prior to the prosthetic foot leaving our production site. So each and every foot that comes out has been fully tested and is safe to walk on, regardless which parameters basically you choose. So we're going to take it back to the covers right now, and I would love to show you 2 more options that we have in the cover field. What we've got here basically is another option as far as the cover goes. What you've just seen is a TPU cover, which is a nice and soft material. This is a bit of a different approach. This is a hard shell cover. All of the covers that I'm showing you today, by the way, are completely waterproof. So this is true also for this one, and this is one of the major benefits also with respect to, in comparison to a foam cosmetic, for instance, because not only is this easy to wear also on your swimming prosthesis, but it's also really easy to clean and also to keep clean. And that is one of the major issues that you might find when using a typical foam cosmetic. Now, the major difference in this one here is, this one here is mounted right now. We have one mounting position, which is basically around the tube of the prosthesis. So we need a prosthesis that has a tubing on the inside, to which we mount a small ball joint, and then we have a front and a back half shell that basically goes around this ball joint. And this holds it nice and sturdy in place and gives it basically a great and sporty look. Also, yet again, this is obviously not the option you want to choose to hide the prosthesis, but it's much more a tool to express the personality of the respective prosthesis wearer. What you can see on this one here is that we have already included a couple of pretty cool patterns and also color combinations. And I would love to show you real quick how we actually can yet again take the prosthesis wearer and the CPO by the hand to make them or to have them influence what their cover is going to look like. So let's check out how this looks on the solution platform again. But Terry, you have a question?
Yeah, so basically you can consider this to be like a tattoo that you can change if you've decided to change your mind.
Basically, yes.
Okay. Change the colors, change the patterns. Okay.
Choose the right cover for the outfit you're wearing on that very day. So let's check out how this is going to look like in our Mecuris solution platform. So what we've got here yet again is the Prosthetic Workshop, and we can go right into the Spectrum cover. In this case, we actually encourage the CPO to provide a scan. The most important part in this one is what I just mentioned. We mount this cover through a ball joint directly to the tube of the prosthesis. And we need to understand, because this is a hard material in comparison to the TPU that we've seen before, that the fit, especially around the socket up here, is perfect and right. And this is ideally achieved by using a 3D scan. So you can upload the scan right into the Mecuris solution platform. And then you can, together with your wearer, you can choose what the design is going to look like. For instance, let's go through this real quick and I'll show you how easy it is to fully individualize the design of this cover. So we can choose different colors.
Christmas colors.
Christmas colors.
Christmas
not
colors.
quite there yet.
Halloween. Halloween colors. Black and orange.
We go for orange and black.
There we go. Thank you. Make me happy.
Black and orange it is. And then we have 2 design surfaces here where we can introduce patterns. So down here you can just choose a pattern, and it will do. And this one here gets showcased right here on in the preview that you can see together with your wearer. On the back pattern, same thing. We might just go here for a nice honeycomb structure, turn the whole thing around and see that we've got the honey. This is a bit too small, don't you think? Let's scale it up a notch. Bigger. Just scale it up a bit, and it's already scaled up to speed. So it's that easy to create a fully individualized design for a prosthetic cover from scratch, basically. You can do this while the respective wearer is sitting right next to you and do it together with them.
And not regret the pattern in 20 years
Not like
when you're older, like a tattoo.
Oh, classic. Any tattoos you regret, Tara?
I have, yes, no tattoos, but we will talk about that later.
Joking.
Okay.
So another thing is that we go for a tube diameter and a tube length, basically that we can use to tailor the whole thing to the respective prosthesis. And then again, get a nice overview, add it to the card and send it in. We will check the scans that we've provided. We will check the parameters that you have sent in, and then you're all set and we can print it basically for you in just a few days. We've got another question coming in. Hit me. Sorry, technical bug. I wanted to ask if you send all products internationally, in my case, the US. Great question, actually. And this is one that I would love to hand over to my colleague, Tara, because she can explain this to you in detail.
Definitely in the future. Right now, as you all understand, there are a lot of issues right now, especially the worldwide pandemic that we are following. We are currently reviewing our products. We have to get FDA certification. It is definitely on the short-term future plans. It will happen. We just don't have the dates as of right now. Of course, once we do have these dates, we will scream it from the highest building tops in Munich and across the globe to let you know we will be selling these products. Thanks for the question. Sign up for our newsletter, and that way you will definitely know when we are able to sell internationally. So I would like to now pass it back to Benny.
Perfect.
Are we on DOW time?
Come again? Almost there. One quick thing.
Okay.
Mr. or Mrs. Ashcraft, I think that was the name. If you would like to dive into this more into detail, please feel free also to book a meeting through our meeting booking tool. We can take a bit more of a deep dive and see if there's maybe possibilities for us to work together, because we are in the very process of seeing what we can do in the States in the near future. So please feel free to reach out and we'll check it out in detail. Perfect. Let's move things forward. One final thing, you have seen right now our brand new dynamic cover, which is designed to go with a ProFlex foot, currently potentially more feet to come, and which is very nice and dynamic, soft in touch, and incredibly easy because it doesn't require a scan. You have on the other hand seen our Spectrum cover, which is basically our solution of a hard gel cover, which is based on a scan, which allows different patterns and colors and so on. For everything that you might not have found yet, for any case for which you haven't seen the fitting cover just now, this is what we have to offer in this case. And now this is our Freestyle cover, and the Freestyle cover is not so much a product by itself, but it's basically the combination of all the other options that are out there. So what you see here right now, this is actually an AK cover, so it's for a transfemoral prosthetic, and it includes basically up here a part that goes around a prosthetic knee. Now this one here was specifically designed for one prosthetic wearer that wanted to wear it with his prosthetic knee, and we are more than happy to take a look into any kind of customized product request that you might have. So even if you have a prosthesis that does not meet the requirements of the other products that I've shown you, please feel free to reach out. We will gladly look into what you have in mind and check out if we can do it and help you with it. Perfect.
So you would consider that our digital product development then?
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Absolutely. So that's it for the prosthetic part of things. If you have any more questions, please feel free to send them in through our chat, and we can also go for it or afterwards by a meeting, for instance, and similar. While we were already talking about the covers, one quick side note. Right now, we have basically, I think we have a bit of a game standing out there. Tara, is that right?
We do. Actually, as being part of the OT World Connect, we do on our website, you can sign up for our game to see you can win one of our covers, actually in the value of 790 euros.
So one of these Spectrum covers.
Spectrum covers, thanks. Make sure you have to sign up. So log in, sign up. You can also sign up on mecuris.com OTW, and the cover is worth, this unfortunately was a typo, it's not 90 euros, it's 790 euros.
Well, that's a bargain, isn't it?
I mean, that would be like super sale, like discount, and no, it's not that cheap. So make sure you sign up because it is quite a cool prize to win. So, oh yeah, technical difficulties have been resolved. Thank you for the typo ramification. Okay, so I
Excellent.
think it's DOW time.
It is DOW time.
DOW.
So let's check out the DOW. What is the DOW? We've used this abbreviation a couple of times now.
Digital Orthotic Workshop.
That's right. The Digital Orthotic Workshop is basically what we've just seen as far as the prosthetic goes. Now we want to check it out what we can do with it in terms of the orthotics. The Digital Orthotics Workshop is a whole tool set that we provide to CPOs currently mainly in the European realm, European area, but also in the future worldwide. So it's a tool set that was developed by our experts in-house that basically takes the analog process of creating an orthosis, let's say an AFO for instance, into the digital world. And I would love to show you what I mean by this in just a second. So I will gladly share my screen with you again and run you through the process real quick to make you see what we have in mind there. So you have seen this page here a bunch of times. We're just going to go into the Orthotic Workshop now and see what we can do there. And here you can find the digital tools that I've just mentioned. The digital tools is basically what you already have in your Orthotics workshop, in your analog Orthotics workshop, just in a digital way. And I will show you how to use it. The whole thing is based on a scan. So the idea is that every orthosis should fit to the respective wearer as good as possible to create the best results and also the best experience for the wearer while wearing it. Therefore, we work with a 3D scan, as one of my colleagues, Ili, has already described it today on how it works. And the 3D scanning technology is, I think, nowadays fairly common also in the CPO world, or at least getting there. So I have prepared a quick scan in here. Let me show that to you real quick, that you simply upload. Yet again, the entire thing is basically run on our service. You don't need to install anything for this. This is also entirely happening in your internet browser. Now what you see here is a typical scan of a lower limb. This is actually the foot of one of my colleagues, I think. And we can go through it step by step to see how we can make actually a full-on ankle foot orthosis out of this. So we can check out the upload first and confirm if we're happy with it. And now the Digital Orthotics Workshop that I just mentioned would like to understand what exactly it sees here. And for that we use a landmark-based approach. This means we tell the DOW where specific landmarks are on this lower leg that we see here, and it takes us through it step by step. So the first thing that we want to go for is we want to tell it where the caput fibulae up here is, and I'll run through these ones here real quick. The landmarks are placed by hand. There is another option to do it. You can technically also put them on in terms of small, let's say foam stickers prior to scanning so that you can see it then in the scan. This allows a more precise placement of these landmarks, but the AI algorithm behind it basically is also working just fine if you are roughly in the area. So you don't have to be 100% precise on this. It's enough if you can get into the rough area. And I really want to give you just a brief insight on what we can do with this landmark-based approach. For that, I will just get all the data in there. And what is happening right now, the scan that you've just seen is a rigid model, but right now an algorithm is placing basically a kinematic structure in it, which allows us then to modify this scan in an anatomically correct way. Now we call this a digital post-correction, which basically means that we take the scan that we have seen in the very beginning, and we can then go ahead and move it around the anatomical axes to correct the posture of the foot for the future orthosis. Now, just a second. So what is happening here in the background right now, it's a calculation process. This is also run on our servers right now, which takes a couple of seconds. We'll be right there. And now we already have it right here. Now what you see is, it hasn't really changed much now, has it? It actually has, you just don't see it yet. If we zoom in a bit here, you notice on the left-hand side a couple of different sliders that you see. And this basically allows you, based on this reference points that we have just set, to now correct the pose in a digital way. Now how cool is that? The whole idea behind this is that you can basically scan the wearer's foot or lower limb in a relaxed way and then do the pose correction afterwards. You can obviously define a neutral position first and then, for instance, add 5 degrees of plantar flexion, or you can do it by best measure as I'm doing here right now. And you have, of course, always access to the data you're providing, so you can download, let's say, also just the corrected scan. And then in a final step, this is a modeling tool in which you basically can digitally reproduce what you would do in your workshop right now with a plaster cast. You can add material, you can take material off real quick and real easy, and therefore create a fully functional form out of the corrected scan that we have just provided. Now what we do with this is we use this functional form that you create in here based on the different modeling tools that you see left hand side to then go ahead and create a 3D printed AFO. We don't have quite enough time right now to go through the entire process, but yet again, I'm more than happy to take you through the process step by step. Simply go into our meeting tool and book a meeting with us, and we will show you this in detail at any time. Now, what this actually is capable of producing are things like this. Classical orthosis for the lower limb. This one here has already been finalized by the CPO by adding some Velcro straps and some additional padding. Now what you get right after printing is basically, hold this for a second, this part. So it's merely a component of the final orthosis, and can then be altered with additional padding, for instance, and also with a Velcro or Velcro straps just to make sure that it stays in place and that you can apply also force, let's say, on the front foot here. So
the shell is produced, but the actual fitting and everything is done by Mecuris.
The fine fitting. I mean, this shell here is completely fitted to the functional form that we have created in the functional form creator before. The final fitting in terms of minor adjustments, padding and so on, this is done by the CPO in his workshop together with the wearer. So the tools that we've just shown you is basically aiming to be as easy and as intuitive as possible to allow the CPOs to get a nice and easy entry into this whole world of digital tools without learning how to do 3D CAD, without going into deep dive into the 3D printing technology. That's the stuff that we know that we are good at. We are providing you the tools to use these technologies to produce unique, individualized orthoses for your wearers that are as unique as the wearers themselves. I think we have another question coming in, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, 2 questions.
2 questions.
Woohoo!
Hit me. What do the patients say regarding your products, and also the parents when it is for kids? What do the patients say? When it comes to the well, you know, the feedback is so far it's quite overwhelming, especially when it comes to the pediatric products. We have a couple of kids that we have basically been working together with over several years now. So they have had several iterations of different prostheses they have been wearing into kindergarten and school and so on. And the feedback that we get is actually quite astonishing. What I've told you about the prosthetic foot, for instance, before, the idea that one of the major benefits of this product is that it is fully individualizable,
Individualized?
Individualized. That the design is fully individualized. This is a feedback that came back to us basically from one of the CPOs based on what the kid told him. Because the kid wanted to have a unicorn in it, and it always had a bit of an issue because it always felt different and a bit out front in comparison to all the other classmates. Now all of a sudden it was wearing a brand new prosthetic foot that basically was not only printed specifically in her color, but also was showing a pattern that she herself chose. And the identification of her with this prosthesis basically completely tipped on that very day. All of a sudden it was not just something that she had to wear for some reason, but it was something that she herself designed and chose how it looks like, and that she was proud to show off actually in school to the other kids. So I think the benefit that a product like this can have on the self-confidence confidence of the kids is tremendous, really.
My favorite story is from one of our patients that said, I'm not going to wear a doll's foot. Now, I think his first foot was military or police. I'm pretty sure, I look forward to like following our patients or our customers' journeys, because I'm sure when our pediatrics move into the next step, we're going to have to find a way to customize like spikes or something else like punk style, because, you know, teenagers, they have to express themselves, and the color and the design may not just be enough. But that's probably my favorite story, is I'm not going to wear a doll's foot. And with Mecuris' first step, you don't have to,
Right.
or the next step.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We've got another question, I think.
Yes, 2 questions. 2.
How complicated is the software? Do I need to get a training first? There's there's 2 easy questions to this. The software, as far as the prosthetics is concerned, what you have just seen in detail, it's not complicated at all. You basically just need to sign up for an account. It's very intuitive in how you can work yourself into this. I mean, what you have seen in here is basically what the whole complexity is behind designing the prosthesis components that we've seen before. It gets slightly more, I don't want to say complicated, but a bit more complex when it comes to the Digital Orthotics Workshop, because obviously there's a lot more functionality in there. Also, the idea behind this is to be as intuitive as possible. So the training that we provide is actually a tiny fraction of the training that you would need for other softwares out there in the market. So right now, when you sign up for the Digital Orthotics Workshop, you will get an initial training of 90 minutes, and that will give you basically all you need to work in there on your own. Now, obviously, this is also a tool that sort of grows with your experience with it, and we are there each and every day to provide support whenever it is needed, of course. But the training itself is really not more than these 90 minutes. And after 4 weeks, we go for another short training session of 90 minutes in which we address specific questions that you might have. This, of course, parallel to any support that we might provide beforehand. So the training is very minimal, and the whole tool set is designed to be as intuitive as possible, to get you into using it as fast as you possibly can.
Speaking as a non-technical person, I can testify that this is the truth. If I'm able to use this, and I have just basically outed myself to the whole world, really literally on YouTube and wherever, that if I can do it, anyone can do it. It's intuitive, it's easy, it's a lot of fun, and you actually get to create really awesome, cool O&P products. Patient aids, sorry, not products. Okay, do we have any other questions? Or, okay, then I think it's now time to slowly wrap it up then.
It is time to slowly wrap it up. Yet again, if you have any additional questions, feel free to shoot them in. Otherwise, we have a couple of things that we might do.
Okay. Once again, we'd like to thank, we're actually wrapping up our first day at OT World, or better said, OT World Connect. So also, when you go onto the website, OT World Connect, they have this really cool design. It's like a honeycomb hectagon shape. Click on Mecuris, the form there. You can come in. You'll also be able to enter our website. You can see everything that we have to offer. Book an appointment with us. Just because OT World is closing for the day does not mean we stop working. English, German, we'll find a way to communicate. We have these tools. We have any way that you want to communicate, we can. Mecuris.com, OTW, it's blended in right now. So be it digital, be it telephone, be it smoke signals. We don't care. We will contact with you. Okay, so, and tomorrow we're also going to be taking part on day 2 of the conference. There will be other presentations in German only, but that's okay. I'm sure an English translation will come across my desk soon. Please translate. So don't worry, we will have the subtitles for that too. And we look forward to communicating, asking, answering. Let's start the dialogue. Even if it's digitally, it's still a dialogue. So, perfect. We'd like to thank you very much for your attention, for your interest. Visit us. We're here for you.
And one quick side note on this one. As we've mentioned before, we actually have this little game going on right now for one of the covers. So please feel free to participate in this. Alternatively, sign up for a newsletter or actually book one of our webinars. If you do either of these 3 things, we provide you with a discount of €50 on your first order. Until I think the end of December of this year. So sign up in one of these 3 options, and we will gladly provide an OT World discount on your first order with us.
Yes.
So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the great questions that you gave to us. And we're more than happy to discuss further in case that you want to reach out afterwards. I'll be available throughout the entire 2 next days, of course, for a meeting, but also afterwards. Feel free to reach out. Thanks. And
thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
See you soon.
Bye.